Yes. Good morning. Did you hear the news?
Once again, we did get the first read on the second quarter GDP. Dagan, it is a contraction as we expected, down 0.9% on top of a contraction in the first quarter, which was down 1.6%. We are officially in recession, Dagan. Once again, we did get the first read on the second quarter GDP.
So I can shut her up.
Once again, we did.
That's the big news today. Although this time it was probably expected. Wow, that music's really loud, isn't it? Let me turn that down a little bit. That should be a little better. Anyway, so as expected, we know it was coming. Now, the question is, how big will the spin be? Is this going to be like one of those, like those blender rides at the amusement park? Or are they just going to completely pretend that this definition doesn't exist? Well, technically, it's a technical recession. Well, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about and not a whole lot of time to do it. So this would be a good time for our friend Johnny to play the intro. Johnny, would you do the honors, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night.
Yes, that would be me. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel on this fabulous Thursday, the 28th of July, 2022. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. Let's call the whole thing off. No, we're not going to call the whole thing off because I have a fresh cup of coffee in the cup from Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's delicious. All right. Since I'm later than normal today. I've been late every day this week, I think. But anyway, here's what I'm going to do. Let's say good morning and let's get right into it because we got to talk about the travails and tribulations of our nation. I could write a rap song like that. Anyway, first in the chat today. What the hell happened here? Hang on. Got to fix this, of course. Nothing goes smooth on a day when I'm late, of course. Just got to be all messed up. What the hell's going on here? Let me fix that. The volume's up. Okay, first in the chat today is our friend Avocados W against the bell. Yay! Also, good morning. What's her name? Bright and early. Rotten Corpse in the house. Somnambule Nation. Deco D, or Decode is in the house. I see a bearing reference in the title. LOL. Yes, I did do a bearing reference in the title. I did a bearing reference yesterday. And it's also in the description. Give me better days. Give me better days. Also, good morning, Jethro Hetero. Maddie's in the house. Nice to see you, my dear. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Natasha Kayleen. Wasabi. Keebler's in the house. Tyre Alexander, Tyrannius Alexandrius, Invictus Soul. Tyrannius Alexandrius, Invictus Soul. Chicago Mike's in the house. Good morning, sir. Also, Mike Savage Blarg. Also, good morning, D.I. Freighter Watcher. Man Squatch is in the house. Angel's Army, welcome. That's Angel. Did you change your name? Or has it always been Angel's Army and I just didn't know it? Let's not talk about that obvious hole in your chest. What? Oh, is this dude. I forgot. There's a little bit of green in this thing. That shouldn't even be close. Hang on. Let me see if I can fix that. How do I fix that? Let's see. Let me just check. That's funny. Yeah, you see the flag going on behind me. Okay. I thought for sure that the green screen would be just fine, but maybe not. Why is this not allowing me to configure the video? What the hell's going on here? Let's try this again. We'll click that. Configure. It's not letting me do it. Well, what the bloody hell's going on here? Oh, I see what's happening. All right, let's try this. Configure video. All right, now let's try something here. We'll try. Wait, that shouldn't have anything to do with it. Contrast, is that? No, that didn't do it. That just makes it go through more. Well, I'll be damned. I didn't know. Oh, there we go. Did that do it? Am I whole again? Of course, I'm a lot darker, but all right, there we go. All right. Back to life. Oh, I look normal color-wise too. That's good. Just change the white balance. Kind of like my parents did. Anyway, also good morning, Angels Army. John Migda. Let's see, who else is here? Angel. Yes, I changed my channel name a couple of years ago. It used to be the Angel Muniz Variety Show channel, but I changed to the name I have now. Oh, well, there you go. Well, thank you for being here, and welcome to all of y'all who are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, well, I have this thing right now. If you're not subscribed, you have to be subscribed to the chat, because I'm trying to avoid all those stupid bots that come in here and do nasty things to my channel and sometimes get me banned for a week. So anyway, I appreciate everyone's here, and if you're working in the background, I'm glad you're here too. And if you're watching a replay, comment in the comment section. Oh, ZZA's in the house. Mr. Scott's here. Nice to see you guys. Welcome. So while you're watching the show, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button at some point. Share the stream before, during, after the stream. And if you want to sponsor the show, my Streamlabs link is pdognight.live. It'll show up in the chat eventually, and you can also do super chats and all that stuff. You know how that works. One chat though, super chat that I didn't get to yesterday, was someone named Forensic Tools Puzzle. Now I have no idea who that is, but gave me an Australian 5 spot. I think is $1. Is that Australian? I'm assuming an Australian dollar, an Australian 5 spot. Well, thank you for doing that. And I'm sorry that I missed you. It was at the end of the show yesterday after I had already started the outro. So I think the little dancing, hippie guy or dancing, disco dad thing came up, but I didn't get to thank you personally. So I'm thanking you personally now. So, also a couple other people showed up. I think Spud Gun, Jeffrey Russell Jr., and Kessler is in the house. So nice to see you all here. All right, let's get into the big news today, because obviously GDP is one of the things that's trending. In fact, recession is trending #1 on Twitter right now. Now I don't know, do I have that one? I gave you the little clip from Maria Bartiromo, who has one of the most annoying voices on TV. I never really noticed how annoying her voice is. But she's a good reporter. But when she gets to yakking, boy, she is annoying. She's like her and Jim Cramer are just annoying people on the in the news. Jim Cramer from CNBC and Maria Bartiromo from Fox Business. But we are officially in a recession. And because that is trending today, let's see, where's that link here? Well, that's House Republicans. That's not what I wanted to do. What the hell? Oh, let's just go to the articles. So the GDP of the United States of America fell 0.9% in the second quarter, the second straight decline in a strong recession, and a strong recession signal. Now that's interesting. This is CNBC. A strong recession signal. Gross domestic product fell 0.9% at an annualized pace. Oh, wait. Oh, here it is down here. The U.S. economy contracted for the second straight quarter from April to June, hitting a widely accepted rule of thumb for recession, the Bureau of Economic Analysis reported on Thursday. Now, that's interesting. A widely accepted rule of thumb for recession. Gross domestic product fell 0.9% at an annualized pace for the period, according to the advanced estimate. That follows a 1.6% decline in the first quarter and was worse than the Dow Jones estimate for a gain of 0.3%. Officially, the National Bureau of Economic Research declares a recession and expansions and likely won't make a judgment on the period in question for months, if not longer. But a second straight negative GDP reading meets the long-held basic view of recession. So, prior to the renaming. Good morning, Jim Beam. Despite the unusual circumstances of the decline, and regardless of what the NBER decides, GDP is the broadcast measure of the economy, or the broadest measure of the economy, and encompasses the total level of goods and services produced during the period. We are not in a recession, but it's clear that the economy's growth is slowing, said Mark Zandi. Wait a minute, we're not in a recession? We're not in a recession, but it's clear the economy's growth is slowing, said Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics. The economy is close to stall speed, but moving forward, but barely. That's interesting. Markets reacted little to the news, with stocks slightly higher at the open. Government bond yields mostly declined, with the biggest drops at shorter duration end of the curve. Separate report Thursday showed that layoffs remain elevated. Initial jobless claims totaled 256,000 for the week ending in July 23rd. A decline of 5,000 from the upwardly revised levels of the previous week, but higher than the Dow Jones estimate of 249,000. So initial job claims are higher slightly than expected. Okay, this is, again, I'm using a CNBC. The decline came from a broad swath of factors, including decreases in inventories, residential and non-residential investment, and government spending at the federal, state, and local levels. Gross private domestic investment tumbled 13.5% for the three-month period. Consumer spending, as measured through personal consumption expenditures, increased just 1% for the period as inflation accelerated. That's pretty interesting. As much as inflation accelerated, consumer spending only increased 1%. So that means consumers are cutting back. Because generally your spending, if they weren't cutting back, your spending would be closer to the inflation number, which was 9% But they're cutting back. Spending on services accelerated during the period by 4.1%, but that was offset by declines in non-durable goods of 5.5% and durable goods of 2.6%. So anyway, it's going in a whole bunch of different. Let me drop down here to the recession question, though. After posting the strongest gain since 1984 last year, oh, you mean when we opened things back up? The U.S. economy began to slow earlier this year due to a confluence of factors. Supply chain issues brought about initially by outsized demand for goods over services during the stupid 19 pandemic were at the core of the problem. That only intensified when Russia invaded Ukraine. Yes, the Putin price hike. In February, and more recently when China enacted strict shutdown measures to battle a burst of stupid 19 cases. The first quarter numbers were also brought down by a swelling trade imbalance and a slowdown in inventories, which were responsible for much of the GDP gains in the second half of 2021. Now the economy faces more fundamental problems. Inflation began its steep ascent a year ago and then exploded in 2022, hitting its highest 12-month increase since 1981 in June. A slow-footed response by policymakers initially has resulted in some of the biggest interest rate increases the U.S. has ever seen. Now, that's interesting. A slow-footed response? What do you mean? The Federal Reserve over the past 4 months has raised benchmark rates by 2.25 percentage points, back-to-back 0.75% percentage point increases in June and July marked the most aggressive 2-month hikes since the Fed began using overnight rates as the primary policy tool in the early 1990s. So we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so that's, you're getting the gist. They're kind of giving you all the different reasons why this may or may not be a recession. Interesting. We have an ad. Let me skip before we go to, because I want to go to Zero Hedge's version of what this means, because that's CNBC mainstream news, and we'll go to alternative media to talk about it. But first, We have an ad, and since we're kind of sticking to, we kind of got some, what do you call this? This is 80s pop kind of vibe. So 80s pop vibe for the commercials today. Here we go. Oh, that's weird. What the hell is this? Thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show today. And Chicago Mike,
you are the new
Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. With a big bullet in the tip jar, Chicago Mike says, this episode of the P-Dog Night Show is brought to you by the new game show called The Blame Game. When your name is Joe Biden and you don't want to take responsibility for the economy, then you find new ways to blame Trump, Putin with The Blame Game. Thank you, Chicago Mike. That's a great ad. That's isn't that the truth? We're gonna, and it's not a recession until we say so. All right. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Appreciate that. So here's Zero Hedge's take on the recession. Welcome to the Biden. Now this is right off the bat. Welcome to the Biden recession. Quarter two GDP unexpectedly, quote unquote, shrinks 0.9%, second consecutive decline. Now, what's funny about that? Because they were expecting there to be an increase in 0.3%. So, considering the dismal Atlanta Fed GDP now prints in a recent week, and considering the full court press by the Biden administration to change the definition of recession, it will hardly be a surprise. But in any case, moments ago, the Bureau of Economic Analysis confirmed what everyone has long known, and that is that the Biden economy is now in technical recession. You're going to hear that a lot today. The first estimate of quarter two GDP came in at negative 0.9%, technically negative 0.930%, far below the 0.5 consensus forecast, but right on top of the Atlanta Fed negative 1.2 tracker. And while an improvement from quarter one's negative 1.6%, this was still the second consecutive quarter of declining GDP, which, as far as the markets are concerned, at least, is the definition of recession. Digging into the data, after a big drop in quarter one GDP, the second quarter decrease in real GDP reflected decreases in inventory investment, housing investment, federal government spending, state and local government spending, and business investment. Exports and consumer spending increased. Imports, which are a subtraction in the calculation of GDP, also increased. So, actually, this is a lot of this is a lot of technical talk, so I'm not going to read this whole thing. But if you want to get a lot more technical, you can read all of it. But here's, let's see. So anyway, the data, according to Zero Hedge, says, so we have a recession, which means the political pushback is about to go into overdrive, starting with Biden's speech in a few hours where he desperately tries to convince the Americans that according to the new and improved definition of recession, the U.S. economy is actually growing tremendously. Also expect support from Biden's political backers, such as Timothy Fiora, the ISM Manufacturing Business Survey Committee chair, who said that although quarter two GDP growth is slightly contracting, recording a technical recession, get used to that word today, technical recession, get used to that word today, technical recession, get used to that word today, technical recession. The manufacturing economy continues to expand at a respectable level. Companies continue to hire at strong rates with minimal signs of hiring freezes, managing headcount through attrition or layoffs. Yes, Tim, the labor market remains tight and is viewed as inflationary, which is why this recession will only get worse as Powell continues to tighten into it. We leave off with some other knee-jerk reactions from the actually, this is not a recession echo chamber. Richard Flint, managing director at Charles Schwab UK, says, Today's announcement is concerning and reflects weaknesses in the stock market and the outlook for corporate profit margins. The U.S. economy and stock market both struggled in the first half of 2022 as tighter monetary policy, faster inflation, and slower growth dented consumer and business confidence. The Fed doled out trillions of dollars worth of liquidity during the pandemic, boosted the economy. However, it is now aggressively raising interest rates in a bid to control inflation, meaning that liquidity has dried up, tightening financial conditions point to a meaningful economic slowdown. Today's announcement underscores this risk. So it's a recession or not? Andrew Hunter, senior economist at Capital Economics, argues that falling GDP is not enough to prompt Fed pivot. Stephen, let's see. Oh, here's one. Stephen Stanley, chief economist at Amherst Pierpoint Securities, is quick to note that, surprise, we are not in a recession. He says the GDP release was definitely softer than expected. Yes, it was softer as in it was negative. A second straight negative GDP figure will further encourage talk of recession, but I agree with Chairman Powell. That's the Chairman Powell, Jerome Powell, the Chairman of the Fed. I agree with Chairman Powell that the economy, while slowing, does not exhibit the characteristics of a downturn. Most notably, labor markets remain robust. While people are still going back to work, we still have a lower job participation rate. Seema Shah, global strategist at Principal Global Investors, also explains why we are not in a recession. Policymakers will no doubt be tying themselves nuts trying to explain why the U.S. economy is not in recession. However, they make a strong point. While 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is technically a recession, other timelier economic data are not consistent with recession. Certainly with 2 job openings per unemployed worker and an average of 375,000 jobs being added per quarter, the labor market is a picture of strength. Oh, fantastic. That's beautiful. Let's see. Heidi Shearholtz, president of Economic Policy Institute, also doesn't think we're currently in a recession. But one thing is clear. The economy has slowed substantially, and additional aggressive action by the Fed to slow growth in the name of taming inflation is very unlikely to be necessary. The consequences of an additional rate hike would be highly damaging, including increased unemployment, reduced living standards, and increased racial inequality. What? What are you talking about? Wait a minute. Additional rate hikes would be highly damaging, including increased unemployment, reduced living standards, and increased racial inequality? What the actual F does the rate hikes have to do with racial inequality? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, Joey Boy. Now, I don't know who Joey Boy is, but Joey Boy, thank you for sponsoring the show. I appreciate you. Who says, what does this say? It says, come on, man.
Come on, man.
You doubt me? Then you ain't black. Okay, thank you, Joey Boy. I have a sneaky suspicion that Joey Boy is related to John Migna. That's a wild guess. Anyway, thank you, Joey Boy. All right. So anyway, so these people are turning themselves in knots, trying to say it's not really a recession. It's not really a recession. It's just slower growth in 2 quarters in a row. So anyway, as you might not be surprised, the hashtag Biden recession is trending on Twitter. Let's see, Cameron. Let's see, what's this say? Exactly the point I made in my last tweet. They don't care about me and they don't care about you. If it doesn't make them more money or give them more power, then they don't care whatsoever. They're demons. Apparently this is here's the statement by President Joe Biden regarding the recession. That's not a recession. Here it is. Coming off last year's historic economic growth and regaining all private sector jobs lost during the pandemic crisis, it's no surprise that the economy is slowing down as the Federal Reserve acts to bring down inflation. But even as we face historic global challenges, we are on the right path, and we will come through this transition stronger and more secure. Our job market remains historically strong, with unemployment at 3.6% and more than 1 million jobs created in the second quarter alone. Consumer spending is continuing to grow. Earlier this week, I met with chairman of SK Group from Korea, just one of the companies investing more than $200 billion in American manufacturing since I took office, powering a historic recovery in American manufacturing. My economic plan is focused on bringing down inflation without giving up all the economic gains we have made. Congress has a historic chance to do that by passing CHIPS and the Science Act and Inflation Reduction Act without delay. So the miracle to the miracle of Joe Biden's economy is you pass what I tell you to, and everything will be hunky dory. Way to go, Joe. And let's see, what's this say? But of course, a poll finds majority of Americans say country's headed in the wrong direction. So that makes a lot more sense to me than what Joe said. Anyway, so Biden recession is trending out there. You'll see a whole bunch of thing here. Everything the Democrats say is happening, or what they're doing, is the opposite. This is how you know the Inflation Reduction Act is just another porculous bill that will increase spending, taxes, and inflation, because apparently someone at Freedom Works says we're officially in a recession. And what are the Democrats doing? Pushing more reckless spending and tax hikes. The resurrected corpse of Biden's failed Build Back Broke Better bitch bill. Recession in 2022. So it's official. The U.S. economy is in recession. Well done, Joe Biden. Hope Americans remember this in the voting booth. I did that. Okay. So anyway, there you go. That's trending. Also, let's see. What did Breitbart say? Oh, and as I mentioned, the Fed has hiked interest rates one more time by 75 basis points, or 0.75%. Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised its benchmark interest rate target by 0.75 of a percentage point. The Federal Open Markets Committee, which sets interest rate policy, said its target rate for overnight interbank funding would rise to a range of 2.25% to 2.5%, up from the 1.5% to 1.75% the Fed set last month. In addition, the Fed said it would raise the rate it pays on reserve balances to 2.4%. So that's what the Fed rate is, what the Federal Reserve charges banks to hoard money on our behalf, and then they sell it to you. Basically, they lend it out to you at a little bit higher rate so they can make money anyway, and they just print money to make money. So anyway, recent indicators of spending and production have softened. The Fed said, nonetheless, job gains have been robust in recent months, and the unemployment rate has remained low. Inflation remains elevated, reflecting supply and demand imbalances related to the pandemic, higher food and energy prices, and broader price pressures. Whatever. So blah, 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 blah. Let's move on. Now, here's a curious one that I need an explanation from somebody in the United States Senate, particularly a Republican in the United States Senate. And this is trending today. Veterans is trending today because the Senate has blocked the House-passed bill expanding access to VA healthcare and disability benefits for veterans exposed to toxins during their military service. It's called the PACT Act. They've stopped it from advancing to a final passage. 60 votes were needed. Now, I don't know why they did this, and I haven't seen any explanation yet. But this may be just an FTG to the Senate Republicans, and I'm not until I find out why they did this, because this is something that passed on a vote, 85, I believe, to 14. I think one senator didn't vote on this, but anyway. So I'm very curious about this, and I'll read the Politics USA. This is a left-wing news site, but I don't care. It'll give you kind of the gist of what's going on here. And of course, this is a very editorialized article from the left. So, Senate Republicans betray our vets by blocking the largest expansion of veterans' health care in decades. After passing the initial legislation with 86 votes weeks ago, Senate Republicans turned around and blocked the same bill that would have expanded health care for veterans. Now, I don't know why this bill came back to the Senate either. I'm not sure, so we'll find out. Republicans blocked expanded health care for vets because they changed their minds Is it? Now, John Tester had something to say. That I'll show you that in a minute. The PACT Act is a legislation that was discussed by President Biden during his State of the Union to provide health care for veterans who were exposed to the military toxic burn pits. The bill was initially passed by the Senate, and then the House passed a version of the bill that was virtually identical. Now, see, now the truth's coming out. I didn't read. I just saw they did this. I wanted an explanation. Virtually identical or identical? That's the question. But when the modified bill came back to the Senate, Republicans blocked it without offering a reason why. Okay, so what's stopping them from just passing the Senate bill as it was? What did the House version that came back to the Senate, what was different about it? Just curious. Without offering a reason why. Jon Stewart and veterans groups. I don't give a fuck what Jon Stewart thinks. I'm going to read the article. Jon Stewart and veterans groups were planning on holding a celebration to mark the bill's passage tomorrow, but that won't be happening now. Oh my gosh, they won't be able to have a party tomorrow. Sorry. And then this is an editorialized article. Republicans claim to love the troops and veterans, but their votes tell a different story. Republicans showed their love for veterans by blocking the expansion of health care. Now, okay, so obviously this has terrible optics, and the way it's being yelled from the rooftops. I want to know specifically what was different in the House bill and the Senate bill, because the Senate bill passed with 86 votes. So anyway, I'll leave that article in the tabs, even though it's and they're just getting savaged on Twitter. John Fetterman lives in an old car dealership instead of the free lieutenant governor mansion that comes with a chef and a huge pool. He gave it to help veterans let less fortunate kids use the pool. Oh, this guy's bitching about the Senate race in Pennsylvania. This is someone named Ted Corcoran. I'm truly devastated. After getting 84 votes in the Senate less than 2 months ago, the Senate Republicans blocked the PACT Act after it was revoted on to correct an error. No, not to correct an error. It came back from the House with some alterations. And I want to know what those alterations were that caused the Senate to not... Look, it's not that they voted against the bill. They voted against cloture on the bill, meaning something came back in that new House version that some senators said, what's this shit? What's this shit you added to our bill that we said to you that we had 86 votes to pass it? So I want to know what those changes were. That's probably what the issue is. In fact, Constantly, you and I think very along the same lines. I see that. And so, this is great. Oliver Willis, he's a jackass. Oh, let's show a flag draped coffin, and instead of telling me what was different about the bill. And honestly, is there a thread that can tell me that? Let's see what's in this thread here. Schumer switched his vote from yes to no and entered a motion to reconsider the failed cloture vote on the PACT Act to allow for a second vote to take place another time. Okay. 8 Senate Republicans, Boozman, Capito, Collins, Graham, Grassley, Hoven, VA ranking member Moran and Rubio joined all Democrats in voting yes to advance the PACT Act, blocked 55 to 42, 60 votes needed. 41 Senate Republicans, including McConnell, Thune, Armed Services ranking member Inhofe, filibustered the House-passed PACT Act, voting no against advancing it to final passage. Again, and they got a link to a C-SPAN link. I want to know what changed from the original Senate bill to the House bill. Okay, that's just showing the votes. Let's see. And then they got, all they're doing is this guy's just putting what Democrats say about it. So he's going to have the sob stories from the Democrats. I want to know specifically why what changed about the bill that they voted against it. I don't know the specifics, but this is a thought I just had. I bet Democrat votes yes because they knew the right would vote it down. It's perfect. They look like they're out for the little guy and make the right look bad without actually having to pass a bill. Perfect. I think that whatever changed that bill is the reason why they didn't vote for it. But I will find out more probably in the next few days. All right, moving on. Joe Manchin is trending today, and I'm just going to kind of give him an FTG. Senate Majority Leader and Senator Manchin said they have reached a deal on a spending bill that includes health care and climate with a goal of passage by next week before the August recess. Really? Let's see how ABC News plays this. Manchin surprisingly announced a spending deal with Schumer, including health care and climate. In a surprise move on Wednesday, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin announced that not only had he reached a deal with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the smarmy prick from New York, on a major health care focused spending package, he also signed on to climate and energy provisions. It was a reversal of sort for the conservative Democrat who just 2 weeks ago backed away from climate measures being included in any spending bill, telling a radio host that inflation was absolutely killing many people. Many people. Yes, inflation is killing everybody. It's hurting us badly. And that he would have to wait until July inflation numbers were out before considering such measures. Democrats were sure then that they would be left with a health care only bill. Some other senators had openly began making their peace with it. It was unclear Wednesday why Manchin changed course. Today, we are pleased to announce this agreement, Manchin and Schumer said in a joint statement, noting many months of negotiations. The pair said they had finalized legislative text, if approved, would reduce the deficit by some $300 billion. Wow. I love when this is my favorite language whenever they're going to spend a shit ton of money, while investing $369.75 billion in energy security and climate change programs over the next decade. So you're going to save $300 billion while investing $369 billion. That'll be a neat trick. The investments will be fully paid for by closing tax loopholes on wealthy individuals and corporations. So you say, so they're going to try to tax wealthy individuals and corporations an additional $369 billion. Is that what you're saying? And so in other words, you and I are going to pay for it. In addition, the expanded Affordable Care Act program will be extended for 3 years through 2025. With Manchin's approval, Democratic leaders in the evenly divided chamber are now aiming to have a bill approved by the end of the next week using a fast-track process known as reconciliation. Yes, this is a budget bill, so they only need 51 votes. That allows passage of such legislation with a simple majority and Vice President Kamala Harris the tie-breaking vote. The House, according to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, would then return sometime in August to pass the measure. If approved, it would be a major victory for President Joe Biden, who announced his support for the deal in a statement Wednesday night after speaking to both Manchin and Schumer. Biden had tried but failed to get his party united behind the sweeping $2 trillion, originally $3 trillion, Build Back Better butthole baby bongo scheme, economic and social safety net bill that included provisions like universal pre-K, Medicaid expansion, and paid family leave. Somebody explain to me the whole paid family leave thing. I mean, the U.S. government, is the U.S. government going to pay for the paid family leave? Like, for example, my daughter's employer, when she took maternity leave, she had a certain amount of paid time, but that's between her and her employer. I mean, how can you force a company to pay people who are not working? And some companies will do it because it's a great benefit to have, right? But how can... I don't understand. Anyway, Similar, if scaled down proposals have all failed to garner sufficient support among Democrats, with Republicans opposed. Wednesday deals was likewise swiftly condemned by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who tweeted, "Democrats have already crushed American families with historic inflation. Now they want to pile on giant taxes hikes that will hammer workers and kill many thousands of American jobs. First they killed your family's budget, now they want to kill your job too." Thank you very much. That was my
China is asshole.
wait, no. Thank you very much. Yeah, so hang on to your buttholes, because this is going to cause more inflation. Everything's going to get more expensive because they're about to spend a whole shit ton of money in the Senate bill. Good luck. Anyway, thank you, Chicago Bike, for sponsoring the show one more time. Appreciate it. Who says, oh, hang on. We need new music from Chicago Bike here. There we go. What? Come on. Good Lord. This computer, I tell you. Hello. Oh, there we go. What the hell happened there? Oh, shit. Good God. Anyway, I'll just read it. Mike says, Marty, I was 10 at the time. However, I did remember that we had a recession after we had high inflation from the 70s. I'm afraid that we're seeing it again. Yeah, it's a repeat. I got to tell you, it was, you saw it. Well, there's higher inflation in the 70s and the early 80s, and then we kind of got some of it under control by Reagan's second term, and then we started the economy just started booming again, and but yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Anyway, but this spending thing that Manchin is going to sign on to, I don't know who pressured him. I don't know what kind of pressure he had. And it'll be interesting to see how, he's got I think he's doesn't come up for re-election until 24 in West Virginia anyway. So who knows? Anyway, so here's the Daily Wire's take on this. Joe Manchin revised Biden agenda, agrees to Democrat package of tax increases and climate spending. Manchin resurrected key pieces of Joe Biden's Build Back Better butthole baby bongo beach ball agenda in a surprising agreement with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Same pretty much article there. The bill proposes to increase taxes on billion-dollar companies, spend $369 billion on climate and energy programs. And when they say climate and energy programs, I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean energy that we already know works and can, no transition effort. They're going to spend $369 billion on things like Solyndra. That's my opinion, but maybe they can prove me wrong. Okay, so this is pretty much the same article, so I don't need to read that. It'll be there. Anyway, moving on. In the news, JetBlue is going to buy Spirit Airlines for $3.8 billion, creating the fifth largest airline in the United States. When I had to fly a lot, like we had a basketball tournament when I was coaching AAU. We went out to Vegas every year, so we got that deal at Spirit Airlines where you join the Spirit Airlines club or whatever. And then you get cheap flights. And so I think our average flights in 3 years in a row flying to Vegas was like $47. But you got to remember, it's Spirit Airlines. So you're cramped in like sardines and it's really no frills. But anyway, JetBlue, the discount airline, is about to buy Spirit. Here's the New York Post article on that. JetBlue wins takeover bid for Spirit in a $3.8 billion buyout. JetBlue Airways reached an agreement to buy Spirit, blah, 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 making the fifth largest carrier. Queens-based JetBlue has agreed to pay $33.50 a share in cash for Spirit as a part of the $3.8 billion deal. Well, I bet you know what? I wonder if this is possible because them... how they kind of bailed out the airlines a little bit during the planned ammonium. Anyway, Shares of JetBlue are up by more than 1% in pre-market trading on Thursday morning, while Spirit stock soared by more than 4%. Frontier, which will now be the largest discount airline in the country, saw its share price rise by some 1.5% in pre-market trading. So I don't know why that happened, but so there you go. JetBlue is buying. What? Hang on a second. Okay, we have a message here. I don't know what this means. I just don't know what this means. It's a message from, oh, well, thank you. Well, let's start with this one. Let me read these. Let me read these prioritized chats via StreamYards or Streamlabs, which you can go to at PDogNight.live. Somebody named Pebbles. Very strange message. It just says, "Help me." I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. Somebody tell me what that means. I don't know. Anyway, and also FTG Farms is in the mix here. What did I do here? Okay, we're good. FTG Farms is also with another small bullet. By the way, thank you, Pebbles. I somehow think that Pebbles is also related to John Migda. Anyway, FTG Farms with a small bullet says FTG Farms would like to give a hearty FTG to Yertle the Turtle, also known as Mitch McConnell, Joe Manchin, and Emperor Pudding Brain the Wise. FTG Farms will do everything in our power to keep our prices fair. We will not allow the recession to alter our relationship to customers. Well, that's a good thing because I believe I might be one of FTG Farms' top customers. So there you go. Thank you, FTG Farms, for keeping your prices fair. Greatly appreciated. All right. Also in the news, Bernard Cribbins. Now, some of you may know of Bernard Cribbins. He's an actor. He was in the, what's that goofy space fantasy from England that they what's that show called? Doctor Who? He was on Doctor Who. I don't know who he was on Doctor Who, but he was on Doctor Who, and but he's been in a lot of other things over in Great Britain. Anyway, he has passed away. Rest in peace, Bernard Cribbins, aka Wilfred Mott, aka one of the best characters to grace Doctor Who. Do your best and be grateful for every single job. I guess that's one of his slogans. You're not going to make the world any better by shouting at it. That's a good one. Really, just leave me. I'm an old man, doctor. I've had my time. God bless the cactuses. I don't know what these quotes are from. I guess they're from Doctor Who. Anyway, recipes, Bernard Cribbins. Let's see. Moving on. What is this one? Oh, I didn't even have Bernard Cribbins on the screen there. Anyway, yeah, this is Bernard Cribbins. If you're not sure who it is, this guy has passed away. I think he was 70. How old was he? 78, 76? No, he's older than that. 1928. Oh, he's born in 1928. So he's 90. Oh, he's 91 years old. Okay. Anyway, some tributes to Bernard Cribbins. You will always have a special place in our hearts and will be dearly remembered as our beloved Wilfred Mott. Okay, there you go. All right, so let's move on. This is fascinating because of things that are trending. Prince of Pegging is trending. Now, I saw this and I'm like, I don't know. My fear is, no, wait, I better be safe here before I scroll this particular hashtag. But Prince of Pegging is trending. Now, let's see. There's got to be something to this. Apparently Prince. Oh, thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show again. Apparently, Pebbles was the name of the hamster that a woman killed at the airport a few years ago. Oh, okay, I got you. Help me. Thank you, Chicago Mike, for letting me know. I wasn't sure. So Prince of Pegging is trending on Twitter. And it has something to do with Prince William. Apparently, I'm not sure. In fact, it says, I kind of need Prince of Pegging to be number one in UK, US, and Canada simultaneously. I think if you're going to have a go at the Royals, it should be because they're a bloated, parasitic blight of the nation, and not because of one of the baldy ones likes a bit of bum fun. Okay, here we go. Here's okay. Is this what it has to do with? I'm afraid to put things on the screen just because, it's YouTube. But this, let's see. Well, Kate Middleton has a fallout with glamorous best friend and tells Prince William to phase her out. Well, where's the pegging thing come from? That's what I'm wondering. The Prince of Pegging. Okay, this is not it. Last week it emerged that the Duchess of Cambridge views Rose Hanbury as a rural rival while at home in Sandringham, Norfolk. We have learned the falling out between Kate and her ex-close pal, who is the Marchioness of Cholmondeley, is much worse than first thought. Prince William has even stepped in to try to broker peace because he and Kate have what? That I don't know. So anyway, the definitive Prince William. Oh, apparently they're worried that he had an affair with this woman. The definitive Prince William affair thread, since this shit is coming around again. The Sun broke the news that Kate fell out with her best friend. Okay, I don't know why, but I want to know why Prince of Pegging is trending. Oh, I forgot. I can't take any chances. Let's see if it says something to do with Prince William maybe enjoying the practice. And the Independent has an article on what is pegging. I'm sorry. I just, y'all, if you're not sure what pegging is, you might have to look that up. Okay, see, now this is why I don't have this on the screen right now. See, I'm scrolling right now to see what this is about. It has something to do with Prince William. Might enjoy an occasional pegging. But I can't see. Oh, God. Ugh, I didn't need to see that. Okay, I'm just scrolling along here trying to... Let's see. Me waking up to Prince of Pegging gone viral. When it's so savage, you need a minute to appreciate it. Yes, this is that Randy Savage meme. On late Saturday evenings, just before William sneaks off in his Range Rover to get pegged by his mistress, Kate always ensures he's wearing tights. I'll just leave the hashtag in the links below and you can figure it out yourself. Maybe, let's see, is there a latest? Is there a latest why this is trending? I'm obsessed with the fact that both Prince William affair and Prince of Pegging is trending. The only reason I mildly care about the whole Prince of Pegging is if Kate isn't in on it. Cheating is shit, but they have an old-fashioned, please use your side piece to get actual sexual enjoyment while I lie back and think of England-type marriage. Who cares? I don't know. You'll just have to figure that one out yourself. I'm going to move on. Also trending in the news today is, did you realize that 25 years ago, the most romantic sci-fi movie ever, Contact, is 25 years old today, apparently. 25 years old. Matthew McConaughey made a perfect sci-fi movie. We're okay to go. Here's why Contact, starring Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster, is still a classic and nearly flawless science fiction. You know, I never saw Contact. I heard it was a pretty good movie. Maniac Man's in the house. Nice to see you. And GDSOB, good morning. Spud Gun, what's happening? I see I'm sure a few people may have turned off when I was going through that Prince of Pegging nonsense. Anyway, hit the like button again, by the way, if you haven't done that yet. All right, let's actually go back into some real news. So remember that guy that kind of decided to show up at Brett Kavanaugh's house with some weapons and intention to do bodily and severe damage to Brett Kavanaugh? Well, apparently they've done some research on this fella. Nicholas Roski Googled stabbing methods before Brett Kavanaugh murder attempt. The California man charged with the attempted assassination of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh Googled the most effective place to stab someone, end quote, before showing up at the conservative judge's home with a stockpile of weapons, according to newly released details. Now, why have these details been released? I'm sure there's some things that have to go into a trial. Can they just keep some of this secret? Anyway, the revelation was included in an FBI search warrant obtained by Fox News that shed light on other disturbing internet searches by Nicholas John Roski, 26, and alarming conversations he had with online strangers ahead of his alleged ill-fated plot to kill Kavanaugh. Roski said that he used his Reddit account to ask individuals who were unknown to him questions in order to refine his plans to kill the justice, authorities said in a warrant application, according to Fox. He searched the web for things like, quote, how to be stealthy, end quote, assassin skills, end quote, and the most effective place to stab someone, end quote, in the weeks before his alleged June 8th assassination attempt. He also told another person he planned to remove some people from the Supreme Court in order to stop Roe v. Wade from being overturned in an ominous forum conversation revealed by the search warrant. Roski is accused of traveling across the country from his Simi Valley home to Chevy Chase, Maryland, where Kavanaugh lives, in order to kill the justice over the impending repeal of Roe versus Wade. I don't know why we're getting special family pictures of this dude. Fuck that guy. By the way, in fact, let's make that our, even though I skipped a few, let's, what's his name? Nicholas, where's this jackass? Nicholas Roski. Oh, what's going on here? Why isn't this working? Oh, that's weird. Let's just cut and paste this. Well, what the fuck? Oh, well, fuck it. Anyway, he was found with a gun, a knife, ammunition, zip ties, and burglary tools down the street from Kavanaugh's home, where he was arrested after calling 911 to say that he was having suicidal thoughts. A warrant revealed that Roski, who used the email address HelenKiller1969 at gmail.com, was not going to stop at Kavanaugh and planned to target at least two other unnamed Supreme Court justices. So anyway, they're starting to get some more details about that jackhole. All right, let's move on. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out of time. I'm not going to get anywhere near this today. The Biden DOJ official has smeared pregnancy centers. We know this was in their agenda because, they think that some of these pregnancy centers are just places to trick people into having their babies. The Department of Justice's third-ranking official has a history of calling crisis pregnancy centers fake clinics, a false inflammatory description employed by terrorist groups that have recently attacked pro-life organizations. Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta redeployed the rhetoric in a 2020 letter urging senators to vote against a Trump judicial nominee. Nearly 60 crisis centers, which counsel women on alternatives to abortion, have been firebombed or vandalized over the past 2 months. An anarchist group that has claimed responsibility for many of the attacks, Jane's Revenge, has used the same fake clinic rhetoric as Gupta. The Biden administration has repeatedly accused Republicans of causing acts of violence through their rhetoric. The White House baselessly claimed a GOP-backed bill in Florida to restrict teaching about sexual orientation to young children encourages bullying and threatens students' mental health, physical safety, and well-being. Democrats tried to link Representative Elise Stefanik to a mass shooting in Buffalo in May that left 10 people dead. They claimed that Stefanik's opposition to mass illegal immigration echoed the Buffalo shooters' writings about great replacement theory. Well, Gupta's remarks carried new significance after she was appointed this month to lead the Justice Department's Reproductive Rights Task Force, formed to protect access to abortions in the wake of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Gupta also supervises the Justice Department Civil Rights Division, which prosecutes attacks against reproductive health facilities, a classification that includes crisis pregnancy centers. So anyway, Senator Josh Hawley introduced a bill this month to expand criminal penalties for attacks on the centers, and said Gupta's remarks are no surprise given the Justice Department's disregard for assaults on pro-life organizations, which is I'm just saying, it's not a surprise that some of the Biden administration has somebody in the ranks that has some of those things that says that, well, they're just fakes. They're fake clinics. Well, they do help a lot of women. But anyway, moving on. In the January 6th saga, oh, by the way, thank you. Thank you, Prince of Pegging. It says, sorry for the monkeypox thing. Okay. And I believe you're probably the new superstar sponsor of the day, because I believe
You are the new Streamline superstar
anyway.
Sponsor of the day.
Oh, no, Chicago Mike's. No, you're not. Never mind. I'm sorry. But... Okay, you get the joke. All right. Oh, in the January 6th saga, of course, the longest jail sentence levied thus far goes to a brother. A 56-year-old black man was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison Tuesday for his involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Mark Ponder, a resident of Washington, D.C. and former constituent services coordinator for the D.C. City Council, pleaded guilty in April to assaulting 3 police officers with poles. His sentence is tied for the longest jail sentence levied so far against those involved in the riot, which has often been dubbed as white supremacist by prominent Democrats and officials. So another black white supremacist goes to jail. The violent, deadly insurrection on the Capitol grounds 9 months ago. It was about white supremacy, in my opinion, President Joe Biden said at an event in October of last year. These displays of white supremacy are not new. Alicia Brooks, Chief of Staff for the Southern Poverty Law Center, said of the riot, how the fuck was the January 6th a display of white supremacy? What the hell is she talking about? Now it's just reached a fever pitch. FBI Director Christopher Wray told the Senate the attack was racially motivated. What? Christopher Wray said the attackers on January 6th included a number of what we would call militia violent extremism. Oh, is he talking about the Oath Keepers and maybe the Proud Boys? Is that what he was talking? I don't know. And we have had some already arrested who we would put in the category of racially motivated violent extremism, white as well. Okay, Christopher Wray. So anyway, Judge Tanya Chukin has sentenced January 6th defendant Mark Ponder to 63 months in prison for assault, one of the stiffest sentences handed down yet, and steeper than the DOJ's requested 5 years. So the judge gave her more than what the DOJ requested. Do you think any of these people can get a fair trial in D.C.? Any one of them? Do you think a single... And of course, it's a black man. No justice, no peace. Moving on. Senator Elizabeth Warren believes the Biden administration will have brought down the national debt. Oh my gosh, she is smoking the peace pipe, because when asked if Congress would ever balance the budget, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from the Cherokee Nation, did not answer directly, but said the Biden administration has brought down the national debt while the Trump administration caused it to balloon, as in expand. What the fuck is she smoking? At the U.S. Capitol on July 26, CNS News asked Warren, the federal government collected more record taxes in the first 9 months of this fiscal year, but still ran a $515 billion deficit. Will Congress ever balance the budget? Warren responded, actually, I believe the Biden administration will have brought down the national debt. Does she not know what that means? Does she not know what the difference between the national debt and a budget deficit is? The national debt is not going to be going down anytime in our lifetime unless some president with some really giant fucking brass cojones finds a way to get the Congress and Senate to actually cut a budget somewhere. It ain't happening. Because there's too many entitlements, too many non-discretionary spending. Right now, I don't even think the non-discretionary spending could be cut enough to have a budget surplus. Is she loony? Holy shit. Actually, I believe the Biden administration will have brought down the national debt. It was the Trump administration, by doing tax cuts for billionaires, tired trope, that caused the national debt to balloon. When Biden entered office, okay, it was like 27, wait a minute, million, billion, trillion. It was $27 trillion when he came into office. It's $30 trillion now. It's gone up by $2 trillion, the national debt. What? Okay, I can't. I got to just leave that article. Nancy Pelosi has scrapped a pro-police bill. Shocker. Dealing a blow to vulnerable Democrats. I don't want to hear about Nancy Pelosi and blow ever again. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi admitted Thursday that she does not have the votes to pass a public safety bill, a blow to vulnerable Democrats who are trying to run against the accusation that the party wants to defund the police. Yeah, because they want to defund the police. Pelosi canceled a planned vote this week on a bill that would fund grant programs for local police departments and hire additional police officers. The policies were introduced by two vulnerable Democrats, Representative Abigail Spanberger of Virginia and Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, but other Democrats and left-wing activist groups bristled at the proposals. The Congressional Black Caucus opposed extra funding for police departments, citing alleged shootings of unarmed black men. Because as other institutions such as the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights and Human Rights, chaired by Defund the Police proponent Maya Wiley, called the proposal part of a discriminatory criminalization first approach to public safety. How about having a let's stop the bad guys and put them in jail approach to public safety? That's what we really need. Anyway, so that's not good for Nancy. Well, it doesn't affect Nancy Pelosi at all, but those two Democrats who proposed the bill are probably just getting killed right now. Trump is going to sue CNN. Did you hear about this? What's he does? Former President Donald Trump notified CNN of his intention to file a lawsuit against the network for repeated defamatory statements in a statement on Wednesday. Ifra Law, a Washington-based law firm, filed a notice of intent ordering the network under Florida statutes, 770.02, to publish a full and fair correction, apology, or retraction in published pieces or broadcasts that allegedly made false statements about the former president. The notice warned that failure to issue an apology will result in a lawsuit. Okay, interesting, but that's not going anywhere. Even though he filed it in Florida, it's going nowhere. He's not a kid, and they can say a lot of shit about him. That's not going to work. All right, moving on. I'm running out of time. Democratic activists of media shocked that Republicans no longer want to talk to them. A vast majority of the American media is openly hostile to Republicans. They treat them like an enemy, not even trying to hide their bias anymore. It makes perfect sense for Republicans to deny them access and regard them with suspicion. And yet there are people in the media who are clutching to their pearls over this. What do they expect? Charlotte Klein writes in Vanity Fair. Will Republicans shut out the press in 2024? This past weekend, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Senator Marco Rubio both of whom are up for re-election this fall, headlined the Republican Party of Florida's annual Sunshine Summit. Okay, it's not that. Okay. Other high-profile Florida Republicans were also in attendance at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino event, which this year tried something new. After 7 years of being open to the press, it limited which media could attend, giving inside-the-room access to right-wing outlets that give the governor positive coverage, Politico reports, adding that traditional GOP figures were largely replaced by the conservative social media influencers with massive followings who have recently moved to Florida and become some of DeSantis' most vocal backers. Many local national mainstream outlets were unable to get press credentials, according to the Tallahassee Democrat, including the Miami Herald, Politico, Florida Politics, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. Florida Wire Service, the Wall Street Journal, and Business Insider were among the few mainstream outlets allowed to cover at least some parts of the weekend. It has come to my attention that some liberal media activists are mad because they aren't allowed into the Sunshine Summit this weekend. DeSantis spokeswoman Christina Pushaw tweeted Friday, "My message to them is to cry about it." She continued, then go to kickboxing and have a margarita and write the same hit piece you were going to write anyway. That is savage. I think we might have read that before, but are people in the media really this clueless? It sure looks that way. Michael Calderon says Republicans are increasingly shirking sit-down interviews, barring journalists from 2022 events and skipping debates. This aversion to media scrutiny that could upend how the next presidential cycle is covered. How would it be upend how the next presidential cycle is covered? They're going to write the same hit pieces that they always do. Anyway, so if you want to read the Vanity Fair article, it's linked in this article. It's funny. You're the worst person ever. Okay, I guess I won't talk to you then. How dare you? Oh my gosh, that's great. Anyway, so and then the speaking of DeSantis spokesperson, I think that's Christina Pushaw. She shreds the Washington Post for a 2,000-word article whining about her tweets. So she's fairly savage. She's funny as hell, and doesn't take any shit, just like Ron DeSantis doesn't take any shit for the media. So, and I'm talking about Christina Pushaw. She's the press secretary for Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, and she tore into the Washington Post on Wednesday after a lengthy article criticizing her tweets, because, mean tweets. Washington Post published a more than 2,000-word analysis of her tweets Wednesday and characterized her as having a hostile and derisive attitude towards the press. Good! Pushaw responded by criticizing the outlet for focusing on her Twitter account rather than the numerous national and global crises that are currently unfolding. She says, amid war in Europe, runaway inflation, a global energy crisis, our economy is about to be plunged into recession. The many scandals of the Biden administration, record-breaking illegal immigration and drug trafficking, and terroristic threats against Supreme Court justices, the Washington Post chose to devote months of effort to writing a profile about a staffer in Tallahassee. Pushaw told the Daily Caller News Foundation, "This is DeSantis for clicks, and Floridians see right through it. No wonder media credibility has fallen to an all-time low." Well, she's absolutely correct. There's more on there, but that's pretty much sums it up. All right, here's what's left that I'm not getting to. Hulu didn't. Oh, remember we talked about Hulu wouldn't do the political ads for Democrats, and I said that'll last about 2 days. Well, Hulu denied Democratic political ads from airing. 2 days later, it changed its mind. Shocker! Shocker! Why did they use this picture? I don't know. Who's mad? Anyway, Disney confirmed in a statement that to Axios, it will change Hulu's advertising policies to allow political advertising. The decision comes only 2 days after the company denied ads created by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and the Democratic Governors Association. The denial sparked an online outrage from Democrats, and they backed down, and they're going to run them now. Shocker. Fuck. What's this? Oh, how the CDC coordinated with big tech to censor Americans. Yeah, they did. And you can read about it here. Maybe I'll do a supplemental this afternoon because I have so many articles left over. If I do, it will be probably around 2:30. If I don't, then I'll just see you guys tomorrow. I wanted to have a guest tomorrow. If I don't, I'm still trying to get confirmation. If I don't have a guest tomorrow, we'll finish up some of these articles and not do anything new. Anyway, real quick. Oh, another sponsor. And this is Nancy. I'm assuming this is Nancy Pelosi, but then I read the message and it makes me want to. All right, here it is. Thank you, Nancy, for the small bullet in the tip jar. Who says, "Don't you want more bikini shots and stock advice?" No, but Nancy and your well, that's your nom de plume. But anyway, Nancy and your person behind the curtain, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. And on that note, my discombobulated has caught up with me. I must go. It's late for the day. I wish I could call in P-Dog. Maybe here's what we'll do. If I don't have a guest tomorrow, I will do a call-in show. How's that sound? We'll do that tomorrow. And I'll have both a StreamYards window you can click into, or maybe not YouTube, it's Twitter Spaces, depending on what way you prefer to communicate. If my guest can't make it tomorrow. So we'll do that. All right, I got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, because there's 34 people in the room now, at 35, and only 22 likes. So you haven't done that, just do that before you go. Just a quick click. Even if you're going to leave before the outro, click the like button. Also, share the stream before, during, after the show. If you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here. And you can sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live, where we do all the prioritized chats that I read during the show. Although we also do YouTube Super Chats, which I read those too. There's a couple other ways to sponsor the show down in the description below. Thank you for those who are able to do that. It's greatly appreciated. Also, everyone in the chat, thank you for making the show more fun for everybody just by some of the funny comments I get to read. And if you're lurking, working, doing all that stuff, just keep your hands on the wheel and keep listening. We appreciate you too. All right, I got to go. Thanks, everybody. My name's P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.